Hey guys, welcome back. 20.3. Yes, I got a haircut. Thank you for noticing. So the workout is a repeat from 2018, 18.4, which is for time with a 9-minute time cap, 21:15.9 deadlift at 225 for guys, 155 for women, and kipping handstand push-up, or strict if you really want to do strict, with a specific standard, which we'll talk about. And then once that's completed, then you have 21:15.9 deadlift at 315 for men, 225 for female, and in between those, you have 50 feet of handstand walking. So, Brian, initial thoughts on this redo?
Well, I'm glad they chose this as a redo, just because I know from 2018, a lot of athletes, I feel as if they were overconfident. We talked about, like you mentioned, Diane.
Yeah.
Don't PR your Diane time.
Yes.
I think a lot of athletes came out in 2018 very aggressive, and I'm excited to see that they have experience in 2 years of a gap, and then come back and try to redo this and exceed what their last performances were.
Yeah, totally.
What about you?
I like it from the standpoint that it separates people with bending endurance. 90 deadlifts is a lot, and also, again, like how well can you walk on your hands under fatigue? And so I think it just really challenges aspects of higher levels of fitness that the competitive sport wants to challenge. So I think it's a good test. I would also say that it's a nice come down from the last 2 weeks, because the feeling of this workout is very different than the last two. So I think a lot of people could take a breath and be like, yes, I don't have to die and feel like I'm dying for 10, 20 minutes. I can actually I'm kind of grinding and have to take forced breaks and whatnot. So this will be a good one. And for anyone who did it in 2018, it'll be fun to see, can you beat your previous score? So one of the things to really pay attention to is this standard that they had, which I'm not going to go into detail on it, but you need to go to the website, see it, and become familiar with it for yourself, because that becomes a linchpin for a lot of people with the success of the workout in those 45 reps, where they start missing reps. A few high-profile athletes actually had a hard time with this workout 2 years ago because of that. So make sure you get the measurement right, and then in our prep, we want to really open up thoracic spine, the scap, really make you feel long and open, so that when you get your arms overhead, you don't feel like you have any limitations there, because as you fatigue and you get shorter, your range of motion is going to slowly start to dip. So you want to try to get as much clearance as you can over that line by getting as open as possible. Another thing to note is there is a lot of inversion in this workout. You're going up and down a lot. So the prep here is really important, where you need to get a lot of blood flow up and down the body. Also a lot of bending in the prep, which it's a very extensive prep. And we're not going to go into huge detail on it, but you go check out the guide and you'll have everything you need for that. So just make sure that before you start the workout, you feel very prepared with having enough bending reps accumulated and overhead reps, so that your body is ready for what's to come. Like Brian said, one of the things I think a lot of people will do on this is they'll come out really hot, especially on the Diane portion, because they're going to feel good. And the reps up front are inviting, because you're just chomping at the bit, but you have to have some patience and discipline on the first half, because the workout's really won on the second half. And of course, if you're somebody who's going to have a challenge in the first part, then within our guide we have notes on how you're going to tackle that. But a general theme for even elite athletes is partitioning those deadlifts up front, so that when you do get to the back half, you have a lot of juice to be able to keep chipping away at that heavy barbell. High temp plates, which most CrossFit gyms have, are a little bit more forgiving than a weightlifting plate. So those could be useful to use. Not that you're going to bounce the bar, because that's obviously a no rep. You can't do that. But just that little extra rebound that those weights will give you could add up over 90 reps. So something to think about there. Additionally, you can have 2 barbells, which could be helpful. You could have your judge or someone else on the side maybe roll out your lighter one once you're done with that, so you don't have to change weights, because you're going to be coming from 9 kipping handstand push-up into the next bar, so that might not be enough time for somebody to add weight to your bar. So something to think about there. And yeah, with avatars, because that's normally my thing, we have a lot of avatars for this week. We kind of break it down based on, how's your handstand push-ups, how's your deadlifting, how's your handstand walking. And so wherever you sit within each of those, there's a different avatar for each. So go check the prep guide, see where you sit with that, and then you're going to have the notes and breakdown that you need to succeed on this workout. Sir,
we'll just add to zoom out a little bit from those avatars. As Sam mentioned, this is, I won't say polar opposite, but pretty opposite from the last 2 weeks. So assume that if you're going, this is going to be a fast workout and it's going to be brutal. All right, so if you can go in that mindset and build a game plan around that, I think that's highly important because the dose response is going to be completely different than what you've been experiencing. So that would be the last note there. So for the prep guide, guys, there's, like Sam mentioned, it's pretty extensive. If I can find it here.
Yeah.
So it'll have A as our general warm-up, given to our dynamic prep. It's going to be some scat preparation, bending, and then we're also going to be doing some dynamic activation to get you long and open, like Sam mentioned as well. Our CP hit is going to be building to a tough triple deadlift in less than 8 minutes, just to get your body and nervous system ready for that dose. And yeah, man, I think from there it's good to go.
Yeah. Redos, obviously you do the math, 90 deadlifts, and they're relatively heavy. You're looking at probably a Friday and a Monday redo. 3 redos would be real aggressive. You would have to have a lot of volume built in bending and probably somebody who's set up well to bend. So just something to keep in mind so that if you're gonna redo, you do tomorrow. Saturday, Sunday, easy blood flow, recovery-based work. You're not really gonna be training much. It's just recover and flush and feel good so that you come in Monday, you prep, and you hit it. So, and this one you could redo because there is strategy involved. Because if you mess up your pacing the first time on Diane or the second bar, whatever, you can come back Monday and be like, all right, I need to change my game plan a little bit. So keep that in mind, but don't go into the first attempt like, well, I'm gonna half-ass it because I know I'm gonna do it again. It's like, no, you still give it a good effort, but then kind of reflect on what you did and see if there are things you could tweak. Yes, today's hashtag, full spinal. And then lastly, I think just to give context, because this will be interesting to see, because we were talking about this. In 2018, sub 7 minutes on the workout was top 15 for men in the world, and we will see men potentially slower on this workout than women. That's my guess based upon the weight, because the weight relatively is a little heavier for men than it is women. Top 32 in the world were sub 7 minutes for women in 2018. So Brian was thinking sub 6 for men as top times. He said around maybe 100 people, that'd be incredible. And I think, yeah, like there's only one girl sub 6 in the world in 2018, and I'm gonna say there's probably gonna be 30 girls. And I'm gonna say maybe 20 men sub 6, that's my guess.
All right.
So, best of luck, have fun, and do your best.